Today we're going to be looking at the best settings to increase your accuracy in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. This is going to make your aim feel sticky, you're going to stick onto the enemies, and you're going to drop them fairly easily. Now there's going to be a few settings that you have to trust me with, alright? I'm going to tell you to change them. You got to try it out, play a few games with it, and you will see how sticky they truly are. You guys are going to like these settings, so let's get into it. What is up, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to another Black Ops 6 video, man. Like I said, today we're going to be looking at settings to make you better, to help you guys win gunfights. You ever shoot your gun and you feel like you're just not sticking on the enemies, your shots are not hitting where they're supposed to be, you're shooting a little too much to the left or too much to the right of the enemy and stuff? Well, guys, these aim assist settings, if you're playing with a controller, are going to make you godly, alright? And there's a few things you need to change that are not in the settings as well. I just dropped my whole phone. That are not in the settings as well, that you definitely need to change on your class setups to do a lot better as well. Now, before we go into this, if you guys want easier lobbies, anything like that, no lag VPN has got you guys covered. You will lag a lot less in this game, you'll get a lot easier lobbies, and it's just really good. So click the link down in the description, it's my affiliate link, and I got you guys covered with up to 62% off. Alright, yo, let's look at these settings, because I want to get into it really quickly with you guys. Now, the first thing we're going to go into is obviously going to be the controller settings. These are the most important, but not also the most important. Like, in settings are the most important, but not the only thing you guys need to do, alright? So I'm going to say vertical and horizontal stick sensitivity, you're going to want to play at something that you're comfortable with. You could play really high if you like it, or you could play a lot lower if you prefer that as well, but I'm going to say there's pros and cons to each one. If you're playing really high, well, by the time you start shooting at an enemy, by the time you try to get your crosshairs onto them, it's going to take a lot of readjusting, okay? Because it's very fast, it moves very quickly, so it's going to take you a lot of readjusting to get that crosshair directly onto an enemy, especially if they're shooting at you and you got to turn on them. It's going to be a little hard, and if it's too slow, if your sensitivity is way too low, you're going to want to put that up a little bit as well, because again, if you see an enemy off to the left of your screen or something, it's going to take you a lot longer to snap to him. So personally, I'm playing somewhere in the middle. I like it at a 1.9. It feels pretty comfortable to me, and that's why I play horizontal and vertical up at around that area right there. Next off, I'm going to say controller vibration, turn it off, all right? You do not want this on. There's a reason a lot of those scuff controllers give you the option to take out the rumble, to take out the stuff in your controller that causes the vibration, and that's because when your controller is vibrating, your thumbs are vibrating with the controller, your aim assist is kind of getting wonky because your thumb is moving in different directions and stuff. It's just not worth having on, in my opinion. Now, I'm gonna say it's gonna feel really awkward when you turn it off, like maybe for a day or two, maybe even longer. It's going to feel awkward, but turn it off completely. I have not turned mine on since Black Ops 2, and there is no point. My aim is pretty good, I would say. Next, off trigger effect, you're obviously going to want this off as well. If you're playing on a haptic controller, you're going to turn this off, all right? You don't want your trigger to fight against you when you get into gunfights. It doesn't make too much of a difference, especially for accuracy, so if you want it on, keep it on, cool, but honestly, it's just, I don't like it. And then dead zones, this is really important. I switched mine up just a little bit again. I always play around with this to find the best, and recently I found that left stick at 5 is, well, for me, the only option I could do. I would go lower. If you could go to 0, go to 0. I can't because I have stick drift, and left stick max at 35 is great for movement, all right? This has nothing to do with accuracy again. It's just really good if you're playing with tactical sprint assist on and stuff. The lower you put that, the faster your attack sprint. It's just gonna you're just gonna move, and it's just gonna happen and stuff. So honestly, I like it as well, all right? Next off, we got right stick minimum. I'm gonna say 6. You're gonna want to play anywhere between 5 and 15. There's a lot of people that are recommending 0. Do not play at 0, okay? If you're playing at 0 and you just touch that right stick just a little bit, it's going to work against aim assist. I've done a lot of testing on this. You're going to want to put it at 6, and your aim assist is already going to start feeling really sticky just doing that right there. And then your right stick max, you're going to set this to 100, and then the triggers, a lot of people tell me that they leave theirs at default 13. Do not do that, all right? Put it down to 0. If you leave it to 13 and you start pushing that trigger, if you move it just a millimeter, it's not going to register in game. If you move it just a few millimeters, it's not going to register in game. This, you're going to have to push it down 13% of the way if you leave it at this right here in order for your gun to start shooting. The second you put this down to 0, the minute you touch that trigger, your gun is going to start shooting. So it's really worth it, in my opinion. It's going to milliseconds, it's going to save, but in a game like Call of Duty where it just takes milliseconds to kill an enemy, you want every millisecond to work in your favor. So turn this down to 0 as well. Then we're going to go over to aiming. This is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, sensitivity multiplier, I'm going to say right now, for tablet and air vehicles and all that, you're going to want to lower this as well. If you're calling in a hellstorm and you see that this thing is, or that rocket that you launch and stuff, and you see it's very hard to control, lower this down, all right? Put it down to like 0.45. Everything's just going to be a lot easier to control when doing that. And then your ADS sensitivity multiplier in focus, I put mine down to 0.90. There's honestly, I don't snipe enough, so I can't tell you guys what to do for this one. It's just, this is what's comfortable for me. So I'm going to leave it at that. Now, aiming advanced settings, we're going to get into this. I'm going to say gradual is the one you want, all right? This is when you're aiming down sights. Once you begin aiming down sights, it switches from your ADS, or your actual sensitivity, which mine is a 1.9, to your ADS sensitivity. It slowly switches. It gradually goes into that. If you put it to instant and you're playing at a super fast sensitivity, but your ADS sensitivity is slow, the minute you start aiming on sights, the second you press the button to ADS, it's going to slow it down. So if you're not on the enemy, it's going to be really slow and it's going to screw you up a lot. So gradual is honestly the best. And if you're really good at getting your crosshairs on the enemy before you ADS, put it to after zoom and you're going to see how good that is, all right? But for now, gradual is honestly what I would recommend for the average player, a little bit above average as well. And if you're insane, if you're cracked at this game and you're using aimbot, after zoom is going to be what you want to use, but don't use aimbot. And then linear is going to be what you want to use for this here, with a response curve slope scale of 1.0, all right? I used to say dynamic was good. I did more testing. There's not much of a difference, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but linear does seem to feel the best. And then my custom sensitivity per zoom, I have this set to 0.90 only for low zoom. I don't really use snipers like I mentioned, so this high zoom and all that kind of stuff I don't really need to mess with. But iron sight, red dot sights, the basic ones and stuff that don't really have a zoom level, 0.90 seems to work out really nice, all right? And this is going to be good if you have it paired with gradual and you're not playing too high. These really work hand in hand together, so your sensitivity should already be a lot better. But now you want to hit those first shots. I've mentioned this quite a few times before, but we're going to reiterate it in this video right here. So we're going to go and use the Cypher 0.90. We're going to use this, and we're going to use the precision foregrip, all right? The reason you want to use the precision foregrip is for that aiming idle sway. It brings down the sway a lot, so your gun's not just moving around when you're aiming on sights. And you know that when you aim down sights, let's take it off actually. You know what, let's take it off. Let's go into here and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. My gun automatically moves, all right? You see that red dot? It's not staying centered. It's moving around a lot on its own. And when you ADS, it's always going to be pointed in a slightly different area, all right? It's not always going to be pointed at the same spot. So if you start ADSing at an enemy, you might miss him, you might hit him, like there I'm on target, but then you might be off target, like right there. So you want to make sure that you will be on target as much as possible, all right? So we're going to go and I'm going to show you guys something right here. We're going to put on the precision foregrip. It's going to take away a lot of that sway, okay? It's, as you can see, the gun's barely swaying. It barely moves, so anytime you actually ADS, it's going to hit that target if you ADS properly. If your crosshairs are lined up and everything's lined up, you're going to hit that target really nice. Now, that's not the only thing. We're going to go back into the settings and we're going to go to interface. And the reason we're going to go to interface is because I want to show you guys something that's going to help you out quite a little bit, all right? So first off, color customization, you're going to want to play on filter 2. This just makes every color pop. The vibrant colors are a lot more vibrant, red is a lot more red, yellow pops a lot nicer. Color filter 2 is going to help you with that for sure, but that's not the only thing. We're also going to go to gameplay HUD and we're going to go to crosshair. You're going to set your crosshair, instead of off, on, or static, you're going to put on center dot. It's going to give you a crosshair, but it's also going to give you a little dot in the center of your screen, and then you're going to press show more. So you're going to open this up right here. You're going to set the dot to the largest, all right? This is going to help you guys out a lot. Back in the day, a lot of people, before center dots were a thing, a lot of people would put tape on the center of their screen. They would color it, and then that way, once you're running around in game, you see that tape. Wherever that tape is where you're going to be when you ADS. Well, the center dot is basically the same thing. Wherever that center dot is pointed is where your gun is going to be when you aim down sights. So you want that on your screen. It's going to help you guys out tremendously. And then you're going to go to the opacity, set it to 100, and the crosshair color, what I'm going to recommend here is you're going to want to set it to either yellow, or you could set it all the way up, which this is going to take a long time, and I apologize for that, but it's the fastest way I could currently move it. Maybe I could use my mouse, but it is what it is. Or you could set it all the way up to something like this right here, like a purple, like a fuchsia, something like that. And we're going to set that, for example, and the reason you want it on yellow is because that's the color that attracts your eyes the most. You will always see that. And the reason you want it on fuchsia, if you decide to use this color, is because there's not many colors on any given map that are resembling this color right here, that are close to this color right here. So that way you will be able to see that crosshair at all times. You will be able to see that center dot at all times. Put the brightness up, put the saturation all the way up. And if you want the hex number for the one that I use, for the yellow, for example, I'm gonna see if I can use my mouse for that. We're gonna go FFF 000, and that's going to give you a nice yellow. All right, if you want to put that right there, you're going to press apply custom color and whatever, and that's just going to help you guys out in game a lot. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, those notifications turned on. If your accuracy is better, I would truly appreciate you guys letting me know down in the comments below, so I can know these settings are working for a lot of people as well. My name is Nick, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.